Okay, everybody, welcome to the video. I just want to say thanks to the people that have already subscribed. I've already got some really cool comments on a couple of the videos. I know I said I have a forthcoming video series. It is in the process of being edited for the first episode, but in the meantime, I figured I might as well be posting up some stuff rather than keeping you guys waiting. So I had this video here as, I don't know if you'd call this a react or a breakdown, but this is something I wanted to talk about just because there's so much information in the Mortal Kombat space and in the fighting game space in general that I intend to cover. And one of the things that initially pushed me away from one of the creators that we're going to be talking about in this video is misinformation and like willful misinformation about stuff. And that's with TrueUnderDawg. And I want to set up the caveat here that I have no problem with TrueUnderDawg personally or anything. It's just I don't like the way he makes videos, and I am not sure if his intentions are to be misleading. It seems like it, the way he makes videos, and I just want to do a breakdown of just stuff I don't like when a person makes a video like this. And not only is this a personal thing, like I'm going to show you that there's stuff in here that's just factually not true. And I was a subscriber to TrueUnderDawg for a good amount of time around the MKX time. He was putting up some good videos, but man, some of the videos around like MK11, MK1 time are really dire, and I dropped off being a sub. So I just want to show you kind of how to spot stuff like this and how to spot information coming up for spoilers or for info about forthcoming games where you can see it's not true. And there's kind of a running theme of that here. So here we go.
About 2 days ago, Mortal Kombat 13.
So as we can see, this is presented new facts about Mortal Kombat 13. So we frame this as facts about Mortal Kombat 13.
And theories about this upcoming game. Are cameos going to return? Which fan favorite characters are guaranteed? Will it still be Liu Kang's new era?
Take a note of the words that are being used here. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
I don't want to share too much, but let's just say I've got some insider info.
And like we know nothing about Mortal Kombat 13, whatever form it'll take. It hasn't even been confirmed to exist yet.
Unlikely to happen, at least anytime soon. Another day means more Mortal Kombat news. I'm covering it all the time on this channel. So
and he does, True does a very consistent job of keeping up on news, but it seems like when there isn't news, news gets created. Hey, like and share. That's a great suggestion, guys. If you like my videos, like them and share them with people. Thanks, True. That's one fact I can get behind for sure.
But also I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. So alright everyone, without any further ado, let's begin.
So we're gonna take some time here to listen to what he says, and I'm gonna be as fair to him as possible, because obviously not every video True makes is bad. That would be crazy to say. Like I said, this is not some personal vendetta.
Then afterwards, I'll cover what's very likely, then less likely, and finally what's not going to happen whatsoever. But of course, good news first, are the cameos going to return in Mortal Kombat 13?
I just want to highlight a couple things he said. He said stuff that he is certain of. Certainty is a statement of fact. That means this is going to happen. And I'm also going to mention that he said things that won't happen, which again is a statement of fact. So we have a sandwich here of him stating that there are things that are definitely going to happen and things that definitely won't happen, which are two ways of confirming stuff. And then in the middle, he says stuff that, you know, he is fairly sure or fairly certain of or maybe, etc. So again, this is about framing of this information and the difference between facts and speculation.
The fast answer is no, they're not going to come back. We know this for two reasons.
He has no way to know this.
Never keeps their gimmick from a previous Mortal Kombat game. It's always something brand new. Mortal Kombat X had variations, and the run mechanic, Mortal Kombat 11 had custom movesets.
Okay, so right here, this is a really disingenuous framing. Saying this can't happen because it hasn't happened before is not proof of anything. It's really easy to make claims like that. Like you could say, well, Street Fighter 4 definitely won't have parries because Street Fighter 3 didn't. And you could have said that a month after Third Strike dropped and we weren't getting another iteration of Street Fighter 3. Just because you can make that claim doesn't mean it's true. The other thing is, he's factually wrong here. He talks about how they're not going to bring back gimmicks, but we had gimmicks in Mortal Kombat 9 that did come back, we had X-ray moves, and we have moves that continue to have X-rays in them in basically the same manner going forward. Similarly, he mentioned the variation systems and then goes on to talk about custom move sets as if these are two different things. But when MK11 launched, it was with variations, and those are still a thing. In fact, they were still a thing for a while until we get the full customization later on, at least to my memory. So this framing of them never doing the same thing twice, A, even if that was true, it doesn't confirm anything. And B, even if it was to be taken as fact, it's not true from the examples he gave, because the custom movesets to start out were variations from MKX into MK11. Like, calling them variations versus custom movesets is, I'm sorry, like, that doesn't fly. Come on, man.
Along with the new meter system and a breakaway, then Mortal Kombat 1 added the cameo characters. So yeah, every single time NetherRealm reinvents the wheel, which means the cameo characters aren't going to come back. That's number one. But then number
Not a
two,
guarantee.
many players dislike the cameo system, and I mean vehemently.
Now, this would be fine for speculation, and I absolutely agree with this. I do not think cameos would be coming back. I think we'd be more likely to get a tagged fighter, even though I don't see that happening. But people don't like cameos. I personally don't like cameos. I don't like the way they're implemented. Not a huge tag person for fighters in general, though I do enjoy quite a few.
Guaranteed, I promise you, we're not going to have cameos.
But here we go, guarantee, promise. He has no way to guarantee or promise this.
Guaranteed characters. Jade is going to be in Mortal Kombat 13.
Jade is going to be in Mortal Kombat 13. He has stated this as a guaranteed character. Okay, we're going to watch now as he presents his facts to back up that this will happen.
We know this for a fact because she was meant to be in Combat Pack.
We know this for a fact because she was meant to be in a Combat Pack.
Because Warner Brothers said so, which is nothing new for this series. In fact, the exact same thing happened in Mortal Kombat 11, despite that game selling extremely well. In fact, Mortal Kombat 11 is one of the best-selling fighting games in history, and yet
he's presenting it as fact that Jade will be in the next game.
I'd say the exact same thing is going to happen with Mortal Kombat.
And it's because she was planned for DLC.
Guaranteed. For Pete's sake, she got name dropped over 5 times by several characters in Mortal Kombat 1, so yeah, she's gonna be in Mortal Kombat 13.
Okay, so this is again a completely disingenuous framing of the situation. He has no guarantee this is gonna happen. There are no actual facts to back this up. This is just pure speculation. And he's basing this on, well, she was supposed to be DLC for a previous game. That doesn't mean anything. They wanted to have previous characters in other games before that don't necessarily come through to the new game because it can all depend on the framing for the story, what they do with that character's design space. Maybe they wanted to build Jade in a way that worked really well with the cameo system or with the story that they had going. If they totally change gears from Mortal Kombat 13 and the cameo system is now out or the meter system is totally different, all of the work they may have put into a theoretical Jade for a DLC could be out the window, and then we're looking at a totally different character instead that they end up going with. There is no guarantee for this, and him framing this as a guarantee is just really silly.
And play a pretty big role in the story. I don't want to share too much, but let's just say I've got some insider info on this one. But
never trust people when they say that.
About characters, Frost. This character is very likely to be in Mortal Kombat 13 on launch day, but she's not confirmed like Jade. That's right. For now,
Jade is not confirmed either.
Personal assumptions, and here's my reasoning. In Mortal Kombat 1, Sub-Zero became Noob Saibot, and unlike in previous timelines, Kuai Liang is Scorpion now. The guy's got
so like this is entirely based on speculation about the story. This would be okay as speculation. I don't agree with what he's coming up with as conclusions here because I don't think they're not. They're gonna have Sub-Zero in a future Mortal Kombat game, as far as I would imagine.
These endings are canon, and
like,
Noob Saibot stayed Noob Saibot.
Yeah, no one in NRS cares about Noob Saibot staying Noob Saibot. They have undone, reversed, and ignored so many endings and so many events and all the games. Hell, this game is a retcon game. Like, they could just introduce a Sub-Zero from another multiverse timeline, and we know NRS will not hesitate to do something like that. So is Frost possible? Sure. Is there reasoning behind it that is logical? Sure.
of Mortal Kombat 13.
Doesn't guarantee
which
anything.
Some fans are definitely gonna be upset about. Here's the thing though, I'm hoping that Frost will be a good guy in Liu Kang's era. That could be interesting and make the character refreshing. However, for Jade, I think she might be a twist villain. I don't know why I feel that way. It's just in my bones.
He doesn't know why he feels that way because he has nothing to go off of. He's just inventing stuff here. And like I said, just because a character was going to be DLC, there's no way to know that they're going to be in the next game. Especially because, as we know, with Mortal Kombat, they reinvent the wheel almost every game, which is very strange.
Mode is gone. Like, straight up. We're never going to have invasions again, certainly not in Mortal Kombat 13. That is confirmed as a fact. It's guaranteed, which is...
Again, I'm going to reiterate this, and I am kind of repeating myself at this point, but I just need to keep highlighting how many times this keeps happening. Invasions mode is not coming back. That is guaranteed. There is no guarantee of that from anyone anywhere. It could come back in a slightly different version. And in truth, invasions are very similar to Towers of Time already, and they're very similar to the multiverse mode that they had in Injustice 2. These are very similar concepts, and we've seen them now in 3 games. And sure, Invasions has the board game aspect that's terrible because it's... If anyone remembers that terrible Dragon Ball game where they get rid of the story mode and replace it with the board game thing, it's basically the same thing as that, which everyone hated all those years ago, and for some reason NRS thought it was a good idea. Maybe because NRS Studios is in bizarro world where all good ideas are bad ideas and bad ideas are good ideas. I don't know. I don't know if they're smoking something in those offices or if there's a gas leak in the headquarters and it makes everyone make bad decisions. But yeah, there's no guarantee of this. They could slightly redo Invasions mode and bring it back and just say this is our new improved thing where we want to take another crack at this. It's entirely plausible.
Definitely fantastic news. Don't get it twisted. I understood the vision for Invasions. I kind of see what
like even that this is fantastic news. True. This is news from you that you've invented.
Nobody likes Invasions. For a short moment, it was fun, but immediately afterwards, they ruined it with an update, made all the boss characters super difficult. It became all grindy.
This is untrue in that Invasions was never fun. It was always terrible. You ran really slow. The stupid bonuses were bad. There were really no fun fights in the game because everything just was given armor as fake difficulty.
Could be returning, very likely. That's right, which is fantastic news because I love the crypt, you love the crypt, we all love the crypt. Now keep in mind that doesn't mean the online store is going away because let's be real, every modern fighting game
that's never going away.
Store, at least with the big
the thing people need to understand is long-term monetization, especially for fighters, is borderline necessary for how they make money. And like that's not a defense or an attack on the practice. That's just straight up economics. Are there better ways to go about it and more consumer friendly ways to go about it? Sure. And the different games have different levels of that and of quality of monetization. That is a really nice katana statue.
Along with Tag Team, that's right. NetherRealm is heavily considering Tag Team in Mortal Kombat 13, not as the main mode, because that's very hard to balance, and also most Mortal Kombat fans do prefer the typical
So we're going to wait for receipts on this.
So that's why Tag Team is just going to be an option, and don't forget that for Mortal Kombat 1, it was originally...
And Tag Team is going to be an option, stated as a statement of fact from him. That was not speculation, he outright stated it.
Unreleased mode. That's right, deep in the files of Mortal Kombat 1, there is a tag team mode. Now, it's not finished, it's not polished, but still it's there, which proves NetherRealm was working on tag team at one point for Mortal Kombat 1. And they learned quite a lot in this process, so chances are it's going to return in Mortal Kombat 13, a full tag team mode. It's just not going to be the main mode, something...
So now you see the goalpost shift there. He stated that it would be in the next game, that it's a statement of fact, and then he shifts over to very likely. So he's just shifted the goalpost there, but then he also makes a definitive statement inside that goalpost shift where he says it won't be the main mode. Again, there's no way to know this. They could, for all we know, make the next Mortal Kombat game a tag game and have that be the big allure of the game and the big hook in a trailer to get people hype. You know, if they presented a trailer of Fire and Ice versus Shaolin monks, and it's Scorpion and Sub-Zero facing off against Liu Kang and Kung Lao as 2 teams of 2 with tag as their trailer for the new Mortal Kombat 13. Would that catch anyone by surprise? Would that not sound like something that they could do to hype people up? Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world that that could be possible. We've seen other tag games come out recently, and more tag games will come out because tag is I guess you could say it's an approved of mode of fighting games. They tend to be pretty popular as a subgenre. So now we've seen statement of fact, goalpost shift to speculation, but then also he nests in another statement of fact inside that speculation.
Fun on the side, in other words. Very similar to Mortal Kombat 9.
If you ask me if they did tag, it might not be a terrible idea. It may be an interesting new approach. I wouldn't be a giant fan of it, but from a marketing standpoint, it can make sense to feel fresh.
Covered the guaranteed stuff. So next up is 50-50. Liu Kang's new era. Is it going to continue into Mortal Kombat 13? My gut says yes. In fact, if I was a gambling man, I'd put all my money.
So we're in the speculation part of this, which is all well and good. I'll give my take on this. It's entirely possible for them to drop it after one game. The pushback from this previous game is not good, and the big thing to keep in mind is we have new bosses in charge of Mortal Kombat. Paramount is now the owners of all of the Warner Brother properties, which includes Mortal Kombat, and they're not going to want to risk something that is disliked or bad. They're going to want immediate return on their investment, which is the same reason with Napper I had called that they would not be making a new Injustice, because if you look at the numbers on the two games, Injustice sells way worse than Mortal Kombat. And that's not to say Injustice sells bad. We need to understand that the sales that Mortal Kombat does are very, very high in the fighting game genre. And that is the kind of home run that Paramount, having just taken on Warner Brothers and spent all this money to get it, they're going to want that money. That makes sense, right? You just spent a bunch of money, you want to make an immediate return on investment. And that's why I think we'll almost certainly see Mortal Kombat before any next Injustice. But that's also why I'm not so sure we're going to see Liu Kang's timeline again, because this game did not do well for a Mortal Kombat game. Yes, it sold well as a fighter in general, but we also need to keep in mind that the game cost a lot. So when you factor in those things, there is fair odds Paramount might just go, nah, bring us back to formula, give people what they want, everything like classic. It's very common when you see takeovers like this. They want to try to pull things back to where they were when they were the most profitable. And if we look at the history of Mortal Kombat, that's around like Mortal Kombat 9, Mortal Kombat X time. And if we look at Mortal Kombat historically, obviously that's around Mortal Kombat 1 and especially Mortal Kombat 2. Does that mean we're going to see a redo of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3 again? It's possible. I would say that's unfortunate if that's the case. Ideally, I would love them to go back to Armageddon and start from there and just kind of continue on. And honestly, here's the weird thing about that. It's possible we could see something like that. When you're trying to get goodwill as a company, there is always that pull towards nostalgia, and we're at the point now where current NRS kind of put a bad taste in people's mouths for their new stuff. So a return to Midway, even if it's Armageddon and that era, which has a bad taste in some people's mouths, might still be able to be sold to the average consumer as a return to the roots. Could that happen? Yes. Am I saying that will happen? No, I'm not saying anything will happen.
Which implies he's already working on the next Mortal Kombat game, or at least is about to. Because I checked on Google, and Brad Faucheux was not the senior animator for Injustice 2. Keep in mind, there can sometimes be multiple senior animators, but Brad was not one of them. It looks like he's the senior animator for Mortal Kombat games.
Now we can see this is based on more speculation, a two-word Twitter post, not a lot to go off of, guys.
Alright everyone, that's about it for me. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like. Every single like on this video.
Okay, again, good advice. I suggest everyone leave a like on this video for this little bit of a breakdown, but I'm not going to leave you guys there, because when I do these, and if I'm ever going to call something out like this where I don't like it, I'm going to bring some receipts, which is exactly what I did. We're going to go back to a flashback to Mortal Kombat 12 characters confirmed. And I have here a point in the video that I found. So this is going back to post Mortal Kombat 11, now talking about MK1, which at the time we knew as MK12 when we had very little news about it. And this is TrueUnderDawg's coverage of that game and facts, and as we can see from the title, confirmed for that game. So here we go. Take it away, True.
And be done with it. But here's where things get crazy, because I'm not just confirming characters in this video, I'm also confirming the plot for Mortal Kombat.
He's confirming the plot.
Right. I haven't seen anybody else cover this, but Ed Boon straight up said that Mortal Kombat 12 takes place after the events of Mortal Kombat 11. And if you don't believe me, the tweet's right here on screen. Bam, he's straight.
So now again, this is him stating definitively that this is confirmation of the plot of MK12, which is MK1. So we're going to see what his confirmation is.
Straight up says that Mortal Kombat 12 is a direct sequel to Mortal Kombat 11. And I know what a ton of you are saying. Well, Underdog, you can pick the ending. It can be Shang Tsung or Liu Kang's ending, but...
And that is not what people should be saying. What people should be saying is, no man, this is bullshit.
Fire God Liu Kang has the ending, which means we now know for sure that Mortal Kombat 12 is going to be a prequel, or at the very least, there's going to be certain chapters that take place in the past in the very early Mortal Kombat tournament with the Great Kung Lao. And
Womp womp. Because that happened, right, guys? We had the Great Kung Lao in Mortal Kombat 1. We had prequel chapters for the game that took place long in the past, right? Wait, what do you mean none of that happened? That didn't happen at all? Huh, that's weird. It's almost like True completely pulled this out of his ass, but said that it was confirmed and made factual statements about what the story would be. And man, I can't help but think when you put stuff like this is confirmed and make statements of fact, it draws viewers to you. But then what? Do you just hope that you do these far enough away from the game actually coming out that people forget what you said? This is what True said, and now we're bringing the receipts here.
I'm not just guessing here, because guess what Ed Boon did?
I'm going to replay that, just so you guys can hear that. Because some people might say I'm going too hard on this, that it's speculation, and that he's making it clear that it's speculation, which I think I've highlighted enough that he does the exact opposite. He does not frame this as speculation. He frames many of these things as outright stated fact. Listen to this.
Mortal Kombat tournament with the Great Kung Lao. And I'm not just guessing here, because guess what?
I'm not just guessing here.
Confirmed conquest mode for Mortal Kombat 12. Just check out this tweet right here. Remaster Mortal Kombat Deception? Not likely. More likely to do a new conquest.
So there's another little one I have in here slipped in as another statement of fact. Mortal Kombat 12 will have conquest mode. So we've got True now confirming as fact that we're going to get a prequel story with Great Kung Lao for MK1, and there's going to be conquest mode. And you can even see what he's basing this on. This is a tweet from Ed Boon that says, not likely, more likely do a new conquest mode, in response to someone asking about Mortal Kombat Deception Remaster. And let's be honest, at this point, if NRS did a Mortal Kombat Deception Remaster, it would probably suck. They'd screw it up somehow. But anyway, we can see the level of extrapolation, and this is basically dishonesty at this point, or True doesn't understand how sentences and the English language works. Ed Boon outright says, more likely do a new conquest mode. Is there anything in that sentence that confirms anything on any timeline for any game? No. More likely. More likely, if Mortal Kombat Deception getting remastered is not likely at all. There's a 1 in a million chance. Okay. So more likely could be 1 in half a million, 1 in 3/4 million, 1 in 999,999. Yeah, okay, more likely, sure. More likely is not a guarantee of any kind, especially coming from Ed Boon. And that's not a knock on Ed Boon. Ed's job is to keep people hype about stuff, and he's being upfront here, actually. Ed is being very honest in what he's saying here. He is not confirming anything. He is not denying anything, because we got not likely, not at all. Not at all would be saying no, never Mortal Kombat Deception Remaster, or at least right now, never. But he's not doing any of that. Ed's being very upfront with this question, and he's giving a very good answer. He's saying, as far as he's concerned, no, that's not likely. It's more likely that he would do a new conquest mode, which is a good answer to get. That's a good answer both to get and to give, because it means he still has conquest mode on the mind, because you'll see Mortal Kombat Deception was asked about, not specifically conquest mode, but Ed thinking of deception, immediately had Conquest Mode in mind because he knows how popular that is from that game. And it's a great game. Napper's been doing replays on Conquest Modes that you guys should check out. But Ed goes to that and references it to give people good news as part of the what would be framed as bad news of, no, this isn't likely, but hey, you know what we might do? And, you know, that's very good team lead energy from Ed. Really, really good way to go about it. But then True takes that statement of non-committal information and spins it to, this is how we know this is happening, this will be. And as we know now in retrospect, with hindsight being 2020, this does not happen. This is not true. Let's listen more.
Yeah, once again, nobody I've seen has covered this, but your boy Ed Boon just straight up said we're bringing back the most beloved mode in Mortal Kombat history.
So you can see he's taking credit here and patting himself on the back and hyping this up as no one else is covering this because he hasn't seen it, and he's finding that weird because Ed Boon just confirmed this is returning. No, True. Ed Boon did not confirm that. He specifically didn't confirm that it was returning. And no one's covering it, maybe because those people are being more honest than you are. This is not an honest appraisal of what Ed Boon said, but it sure as well probably get people to subscribe and give you clicks because they think you have the inside track, when obviously you don't.
Conquest Mode. And just in case you haven't played Deception, the Conquest Mode takes place way back in the history of Mortal Kombat, before the very first game even. So once again, that's why I know that Mortal Kombat 12 takes place after Liu Kang's ending, because that would make Conquest Mode way more interesting. We're gonna start off way in the past with the Great Kung Lao, and then very likely keep going into the present day. And
So that's the last thing we're gonna get from True on this. And I just want to highlight what he just said there. That's how I know. Not, this is what makes me think. This is how I know. And then he goes on to say, we will get a Conquest Mode set in the past with the Great Kung Lao. And then he goes on to talk about chapters going into the present and then into further into the story. Now, with this video having been made years ago before the release of MK1, yeah, speculating about that and making these claims as fact is all well and good beforehand, when you can tell people things like, I have the inside track on this, I have sources, I'm the only one talking about this. But then when you look at the track record and you have receipts after MK1 has already come out and now MK1's in the dustbin because it didn't do well, those things didn't happen. Those things were never going to happen. So you have to ask yourself, why was he framing it like that? And the only way I can come up with is, there's only two options here. One, he doesn't understand how these basic communications from people are being framed. And come on, do we really think that? I mean, he makes these videos. He's a good communicator himself. We've seen him off the cuff on the podcast that he does with a couple other guys, like Fourth Snake and Sonica. And those guys are great video makers. And we know he doesn't have any problem understanding what's being said. So the only thing I can chalk this up to is it's basically dishonesty, man. And I don't see why you need to be like that. True makes some really good videos. He has some neat stuff that comes out. He's usually on top of stuff. But videos like this are exactly why I unsubscribed to him. He's making claims based on stuff that is either really spurious or he's straight up making up stuff. And just doing it so far ahead of time, it creates an illusion that he has some kind of inside track and insider knowledge, which adds to his credibility, and then more people subscribe to him. But if you actually pay attention and look back, you'll find out that he does this wrong all the time. He makes these predictions and they don't come out in the wash. And that doesn't sit right with me, and I just thought it was worth it to make a video. And this isn't to put True on blast. I mean, I'm a guy with like a couple dozen subscribers, so that's not what this is about. This is about how people present information and problems I have with framing on certain stuff. I would not do this. I would not make a video. If doing this got me 10,000 subscribers tomorrow, I wouldn't do it because it's not true. It's not the way to make videos. It's not the way to tell people stuff, because you're just counting on them to forget that you lied to them, because these are lies. And that's not me saying True's a bad person. That's not me saying True is a pathological liar and he's bad and blah, blah, blah. No. And don't get that twisted. This is not some crusade against True Underdog. I understand there are people that think of YouTube as kind of a game with certain rules that you need to play by. And if that's the mentality some people have, I don't agree with it. I don't like it because I think it does come from a place of dishonesty, maybe desperation for more relevance in the algorithm or whatever the magical algorithm that controls everyone, like the elder gods. But this just ain't it. It's not a good look. And if you really pay attention to these videos and go back, I dare you, go back to his other confirmations for previous games and you will find him wrong all the time. And there's nothing wrong when you're speculating and when you're coming up with a cool video for ideas for upcoming games. Hell, I'm going to do one of those. Napper and I might also be doing a collab on one of those pretty soon in the near future. Nothing wrong with any of that. And that's one of the coolest things I like to listen to because I like to listen to other people's ideas. More power to you for doing something like that. But we should not be presenting that as information, especially when you're a larger YouTuber that does get access to stuff, as True has gotten access to before early, because it creates a sense of credibility and people will be more likely to buy into it. And then they get hyped for stuff that doesn't come true, or they're just given misinformation. And sure, you can say it's information about Mortal Kombat or any other game or Injustice or Street Fighter or whatever. What does that really hurt? Nothing. It doesn't really hurt anyone. This is all just fighting games. It's not a big deal. But dishonesty is dishonesty. That's why I unsubscribed. And I just wanted to, I don't know, just talk about this. It seemed like something that's important to me. Honesty is important. Stay honest, guys.